What happened to the audio?
I don't hear any.
Forget it. Forget it. I try
Oh, I hear
to
you now.
run it. You just need to be, you've gotten so good at running the show, man. Like, why am I trying to do this? Like, I don't understand. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Jacked Up Prepped Pastors podcast.
Jack,
My name's the real Kirk. My co-host over here is the real Phil. He
we get you
is,
Jack.
yeah, we got to get. I don't have all my tech set up. I don't have all my triggers and things. Those are all still in storage. So, but I am set up in the homestead kitchen, where tomorrow we will be filming an episode for my channel, Free State Homestead, about the ultimate chicken stock. How to make the ultimate chicken stock. I cannot claim on the tube of views that it is medicine and that it will heal you, except we know that it will. So there you go. I'm not a doctor. This is not financial advice.
If you put chili paste and sriracha in it, it will heal you.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. So good. So good for you.
That's
Hey, man,
me.
how
You
you
just
how you
gotta
been?
clean out the sign. Good.
Yeah. What's the week been like?
I got a long delay. It's weird.
Do you?
That's right. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, we're just busy here. Hey, winter's happening. We're in Alaska,
Oh,
so
winter's happening here too. It's getting bad. In fact, I just saw.
surprisingly, it's weird that Alaskans get surprised that it snows here sometimes. Um, the first snows are just always some big event to everybody. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, we are supposed to be dipping into the 20s this weekend. I am not excited about that because I have not acquired my heated garden hose to take water out to the fifth wheel from
Yeah.
Dad's place. So, ooh, and we have not gotten the straw bales to skirt the bottom of the trailer yet. So,
Yep. Yeah. I got our coach put away finally yesterday. So
the bug out vehicle is all charged up and ready to roll if so deemed, but it's put away in
I was
storage.
unable to get propane. I'm a little upset about that. I'm down to half a tank, which is one tank of propane will last us about 1 week of running
Yeah,
heat
yeah,
nonstop, and living in it.
yeah,
So I have half a tank, and I like to put things away full, but
yep.
could not find a place that had propane that I could fit into with a 40-foot coach.
Right.
So that was a bit of an issue, but
And that's an
we'll be all
onboard
right.
tank. You can't just take that tank in. That's an onboard
That was the
built-in.
issue.
Got it.
The one place that would have done it is only able to do portable tanks. And of course, if it was a portable tank, I could have taken it lots of places.
Sure.
It's just there's only a few places in our area that can accommodate going directly into a motor coach like that or an onboard tank.
Yeah.
And most of them, you can't fit a vehicle that is longer than 40 feet
Ah,
into the area where they do that. So that's the next issue. And so then there's 2 or 3 that do, and they cater to RVs, right? But they're all closed for the year
oh
and not doing
no.
it. So that was the issue. In fact, we had a hard time finding a place just to do the final. Like I had a little bit of gray water and a little bit of black water. Need to do a final quick dump, and it's probably 10 gallons total for the both of them. But they have to go somewhere, and everybody's shut down. So that was
Well, it's
rather
Alaska.
difficult.
Can't you just drain it into the ditch or something like all the tourists do?
Well, I could be like the seafood packers around here, and where they just drop their boat oil right into the ground next to the river.
There you go.
Some rather prominent seafood companies. Yeah, I probably could have done that, but that is illegal, um, highly frowned upon. And
I'm not gonna confirm or deny what oil changes looked like here in Missouri when I was a child.
yeah,
I'm not gonna confirm or deny what that might have looked like.
well, there's certainly nothing wrong environmentally with spraying a mist of watered down oil onto roads, um,
Sure.
but we're not talking dumping gallons and gallons of straight stuff right in the ground.
Into one spot.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But that's what a now out of business seafood company was doing when I was doing a site visit for an appraisal once. I looked
So
over and went,
so
"What the
so what I heard
going
you
on
say a
there?"
second ago is you might need one of your next preps might need to be a transfer hose so that you can take a 100-pound tank and fill your own.
Yeah, I don't know. I have the ability to connect some of my portable tanks to the system, the way mine is connected, and I do have a fair amount of the. I think they're 30-pound size,
Hmm.
so they'll last a while, right? It'll run a mosquito vacuum for 6 months,
Yeah.
a 30-pounder. So I have a couple of those, and then I have a bunch of the smaller ones, not the like small overlanding Jeep ones.
No, you're talking about the
Uh,
10-pound ones. It's like the
yeah,
barbecue grill size, the barbecue
I
grill size.
forget the size, but yeah, exactly. I no longer have one of the ones like you were talking about. You just got a 100-pounder. Those are
Okay.
pretty popular in Alaska because they go into a sled. They're a lot to manage, but you can lift them
Yep.
and carry them and maneuver them. They're
Yep.
heavy. It's not fun, but it can be done. And a lot of people will put two of them on a sled and pull them back into their remote cabins.
Sure.
Um, but no, I don't have any of those anymore. The last time I had one trying to heat a greenhouse for several years till I figured out that it just doesn't work. Um, and then with a Mr. Heater, you remember like the sun thing?
Sure.
Every once in a while, you just kind of look over at the greenhouse and you just be flames straight up out of that thing. You'd be like, oh,
Just burning down your greenhouse.
just burning down the greenhouse. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
we
great.
got away from using those. But it was funny because the cost of propane when I sold it was full, and the cost of propane had like quadrupled or some ridiculous, maybe even 10 times. I don't even remember. And
It's
I actually made a
bananas.
ton of money when
Hmm.
I sold it. So I just put full propane tank, whatever, and that thing sold in seconds. So I probably didn't charge enough even then.
Well, I'll tell you
But
what,
anyway, yeah.
the regulation around propane is getting kooky because
Is it?
like I went in to fill up I bought um that brand new 100-pound tank and I had been warned that Missouri had gotten really weird about like, you can't, you know, anything over a 50-pound tank, you can't transport horizontally, so it's got to be transported vertically. If you don't have a way to transport it vertically, they won't fill the tank. And so I had strapped it
Oh,
in and got it all loaded down. And I pulled up, and this foreigner, she's from Rome, and she's like, "Oh, you got to take it down and put it on the scale." I'm like, "But it's brand new and it's empty. Like, you know how much goes in a brand new tank? Like that. Like if it was a third full, I'd understand. But it's brand new. You don't need to take it down for that. Put the poundage in it." And she's like, "No, no, no." And she actually said the words, "Well, that's how they do it in Rome." And I was like, "This ain't Rome. This is Missouri. Like, I'm sorry, or we ain't gonna play. We aren't gonna play by Rome rules." She's like, "No, it's $5,000 fine here if I do that differently." And so
she
it's
gets
like,
fine.
so I
Yeah.
had to so I had to take unstrap the whole thing, take it down. I was like, "Well, I hope you got an attendant that's gonna load it back up in my truck," and they did. And then they
Uh,
said, you don't have to
that could work.
transport it. You don't have to transport it standing up anymore. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I'll huck it up in there when it goes empty. I am going to pick up one more so that I can switch. So like when 100-pounder goes dead, then I'll
Then you have a
I'll
week or two to get it
yeah,
done.
to get it
Yeah.
swapped out when it's convenient for me.
Right.
I'll set myself like a 5-day countdown, because that way, because I estimate that it's probably going to be, you know, 2 weeks, something like that. It's a pretty efficient trailer we're in. So anyway, let's so
Wow.
so so let's get to talking about prep stuff, man. Did you make any headways talking about preps this week? Did you make any moves? Hit any Walmart.com that we need to know about?
But so Walmart is now charging location surcharges. And
We
so
knew it was coming.
I'm 99% done shopping at Walmart.
We knew we
Um,
knew this time last year. We knew it was only a matter of time that you were going to suck up
yeah,
as much as you could from Walmart.
yeah. It was a good about a 2-year run. So and Amazon has been coming back down in price. So Amazon's catching a bunch of the overstock ships that were, off the porch for forever. They're all finally processed. The stuff's all finally made its way to warehouses and stuff. And so there are good deals to be had.
Yeah.
Um, they're not as good as they used to be. And if you kind of look at history and follow the trends in pricing, it's not the smoking deal that they make it out to be.
Right.
But there's stuff available, right? And so that's kind of like ammunition too. It's available pretty widely right now. The
Yeah.
prices are somewhat palatable, although not good by
Right.
historic standards. But it's available right now. So,
Right.
get what you need. I don't need much. I'm not really in the acquisition
I'm
place
not
right now.
scrambling. I'm not scrambling for
Um,
ammo. I'm really not. There's a
I
few things, man. If I could find some 4570, if I could find some 45 long Colt, if I could find some 410,
yeah,
I would scramble for those, but they're just unattainable. Like they don't
saw
exist.
410 the other day. I almost bought it, but I encouraged them to go ahead and just gouge somebody for it because, um, yeah, you just don't see it very often. And when
Y-
when somebody has it, they should take full advantage of the fact that they have it.
Yeah.
Um,
And I would buy 410
I
no
don't need it.
matter what. Like if it was just birdshot hunting stuff, because we have a
Yeah,
little 410
it
22
was
over
like
under.
10 round 410 saboted slugs, and that had to be worth
Oh,
its weight in gold for sure.
that would have been amazing. My
My
dad
good
would have paid you. My dad
communication.
would have gladly paid you for a box of that.
Yeah,
If you run into that again,
we're not even going to begin to, because I talk so much public smack about the post office that I'm never taking that chance.
fair
they
enough.
will. They are watching me for sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They deserve
Fair enough.
everything I say to them, and
Uh,
I should expect every bit of fallout that I get.
Valid. Okay.
Okay,
Valid. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
I got you.
I can play that game. Yeah. So those who live in glass houses. Anyway, yeah. So 4570. I haven't seen that in a while either. I got a pretty good supply. When it was getting low, I shoot a very particular 4570. I can't remember what it is right now. It's buffalo bore. It's hard cast lead. Um, it's
Yeah.
it's big time stuff you can only run in certain models, right? It's some
Right.
pretty heavy duty. I shoot it through an 1895 SBL, and um, yeah, I just don't remember. It's like 400 grain or some ridiculous slug size.
But
And
overarchingly, most ammo is available. I mean, like right now, we're
yeah,
we're 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 going down a rabbit hole.
true.
Um, Perceptive
Just got me thinking about
Strategies
the last time I shot
says
with one,
check ammo
and
seek. Perceptive
ammo.
Strategies, yeah,
Yeah.
strategic.
Perceptive strategies. Thanks for that. Um, yeah, it probably works. I don't know. Check it out. Lower 48. If you're in Alaska, I can tell you where to get ammo. Go see my buddy Paul at um oh, I better remember his Bullet Farm Manufacturing in
There
Soldotna.
you go. There you go. I
Uh
was to say, isn't
anyway,
it
yeah.
Bullet
I
Farm?
was
But
gonna
I
say,
could.
am I wearing his hat? I'm not wearing a hat this
You're
week.
not. You're not wearing the
I'm plugging my
SJV
own
or,
company. Hey, how about that? I haven't plugged my company in a long time.
dude. You should.
Um,
You're getting ready to roll out
so
some stuff, right? You're making some videos again, or
yeah,
finally, I
we
should
are
say.
actually doing well, I recorded a bunch of stuff and then I got distracted playing uh, PC games. And I have like what 50 videos or something of PC games. I have something like 300 hours of video. It's funny
Nice.
because somebody watches I know you sometimes put it on playback, I sometimes put it on playback on my other account, but there are other people. I get like 15, 20 minute. There's certain ones that are doing really well still. A
Nice.
year later, they're still
That's
doing
great.
pretty well. So
That's great.
I actually purposely stopped putting those on the channel because it wasn't the intention of the channel to become a gaming channel. It
Yeah.
just was really easy to throw some live streams up
Yeah.
when I was doing it anyway. So,
Yep.
but
Well, I've got an update from one of the stories that I shared last week, and
okay.
it's a good update. So,
Good.
those for those people who are paying attention, conservatives, specifically Christians, a lot of people are getting disappeared off of social media. We talked about that last week, and my friend, with two multi-million dollar or three multi-million dollar companies, really, all of their accounts got axed. And you had talked about realtor stuff and things like that, attached to Facebook and social media. Well, she
Okay.
evidently wrote a pretty scathing email to their secretary, their state's attorney general,
Okay.
and then 2 days later, she got an email. She got an email from Facebook where her account had been reactivated, and it was CC'd to the Colorado State Attorney General. So,
Nice.
so I mean, granted,
Several
most
states
of
are
us.
going after Facebook for their advertising policies, their discrimination policies.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. So
Florida has
win,
been.
win.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a win. Good for her. And
Yeah,
but that was Colorado or
that was Colorado,
one of those states. Okay.
which is very leftist, and their state
It
attorney
is.
general is pretty left. So, but still, I mean, that's
Maybe
great.
that was just an easy win, to support. Every once in a while, they got to, play both sides, and if they've got one that's a softball, they should take it.
Well, and let's face it, I'm not like I would have no clout. Like I've just moved back to a state. I'm not a multimillionaire. Like I'm not, I mean, they've got no, they would have no reason to even get upset for me. But what I mean, like, praise God, my friend got her company stuff back, and I'm very, very,
Right, that's
very
great.
happy about that. That's great,
No,
great news.
it is good.
But she's
We need
also
good people in
very
business.
realistic. She's very realistic that she knows it's only for a season. So she's
Sure.
collecting all of her memories, all of her kids' stuff from graduating at Air Force BMT, and all the things. She's getting all of her photos and videos and stuff backed up off of there because she knows it's only a matter of time before we get completely run out
And
of the
that's something
public
we
square.
told people too, right?
Yes.
Go to your settings and find the spot where you can download your entire profile.
Yep.
I need to do that again. I don't put a lot of
It's
personal stuff on
it's
anymore.
time. It's
Um,
time for me to do that.
but I've done it, and it took a while. I think it
Yeah.
was like a half a day download for me because, I mean, I've been on Facebook since it was invitation only for college emails in like early 2007.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, and for several years, it was the one place that we put all our kids' stuff because it was family only for us
Sure.
on those profiles. So,
Sure.
living, um, 5,000 miles away from some family and 2,500 miles away from the other family, it just was a great place to do that. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, you
Well,
should never be trusting one platform
yeah.
that you don't own for
Well,
anything.
and don't forget, everybody. Remember. Facebook and Instagram are one platform. It's all Meta now. So when you get deleted from one, you'll be deleted from the other if you have linked accounts. And even if you don't have linked accounts, if it's the same
They link them.
email, if it's
They
the
know your
same
IP.
facial
Yeah.
recognition, they
Yep.
know who you are. They know what you're connected to. They know what you're about.
Correct. That's
So
good.
you will get deplatformed by. See you later. All right, let's talk a little bit about
Yeah.
news. We'll start with the soft, gooey stuff, and then we'll move up to some Russia stuff, things like that. And in the context, we
Soft
talk
gooey
about
stuff, I thought that's gonna be Ukraine after Russia gets done.
yes, but we'll get there in a second. Let's talk a little bit about let's. So speaking of social media and deplatforming and all of the stuff, did you catch any of the
Okay.
updates on the Alex Jones trial this week?
Alex Jones. Oh, he used to be a billionaire.
He was never a billionaire, and his
And
and
never
these
will be and
people
never was.
and these
And
people are never
somebody
going to
is
be
vying
billionaires.
for federal. Yeah, if somebody's vying, there's a judge way overstepping authority in order to get a federal job. I
Crazy,
did.
unprecedented things.
He went on Crowder, and he did another one too. I'm trying to remember who it was. Who was it?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I watched the episode where he was on Crowder. Listen, I want to preface. Okay, we're pastors. Okay, listen. I
okay.
I don't love Alex Jones. I think he's
I don't love him.
obnoxious.
I hate it when he
I
keeps being right about things, though.
well, I'm not going to say that he's wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah,
I don't gel with his
I don't listen
personality.
to him.
I don't
I
I
don't listen
don't
to him.
like I don't like the timbre of his voice. He just annoys the crap
Yeah,
out of
it
me.
bothers me.
And and
He explained to somebody why his voice is like that. I think it was Rogan.
yeah. So, but anyway, he's
He had
obnoxious
an injury,
and
so quit being so discriminating against handicapped people.
oh, okay. All right, my bad. So anyway, but ultimately, he
Yeah.
was very unprecedented. I mean, okay, so put this in perspective, okay? In 2010, after all the banking crisis, after all the 2008 craziness, all right, um, the largest fine ever handed down to a banker during all of the hubbub was $48 million. Okay,
Okay,
so
which was a fraction
wrap
of what they stole.
and that guy, destroyed families. There were people who lost everything, lost all their retirement. This is an investment banker. This is not your
Yeah.
local branch teller, who cashes your check for you. Okay, this is an investment banker, and this
He's a
guy
$1 billion.
ran.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and I can't remember what his name was, but
We can
but
look it up, but
40
we don't.
$48 million was the biggest fine handed out in all of that silliness. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
this week, Alex Jones was fined nearly $1 billion. I mean, within just a handful of $1 million away from being $1 billion.
I heard it explained that there's kind of like hidden fee surcharges sort of things associated that do bump it over $1 billion.
Ah, well, that's probably true. Yeah, I know. And he'll probably end up getting charged with charged interest and stuff like that because he's not gonna. I mean, dude,
He's
this
never going
is
to pay that, nor
he's never
should
gonna
he.
pay it.
Not only that, it's not even a legal. The judge had no authority to even determine that amount. It's above the maximum allowed for the charges.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy. And there was
it's
so
a
much unprecedented stuff inside of that trial that has
oh
never
god,
happened,
it
and
was a
and
witch
that's
hunt.
why we know this judge is vying for a federal slot. Like they're like they wanted to show like I'm so left and I'm so ready to play for the team. They
That
know she knows it's going to get overturned. She knows it'll never
that
stand.
trial made the Rittenhouse show look sane.
It made it look sane. That's exactly right. Have you noticed that Kilo Romeo's been making the rounds? He's been on.
He was with Herrera, and he was on Gun Owners for America as something they were shooting something out of helicopters. It was a little rough to watch. Neither one of those guys are really gun guys.
I know,
You know,
but
yeah,
but anyway,
they're
no,
not my
he's
crowd. But
he's
I
out
will
there.
give a subscribe to guys like that just to support them.
I imagine we'll see a run. I imagine we'll see like the youngest
You think so?
congressman. Oh yeah, I think so.
No, he's. I don't want to disparage him or say bad things about him, but I don't. I don't get the um, brilliant mind vibe from him.
Yeah, but what politician do you get that from ever? Like it's about the kingmakers and who they put in place. So if he gets enough financial backing, he'll get an elected position. That's all there's to it. Pay to play, man.
It's not impossible. I wouldn't be surprised,
Just like
but
well, what he's going to be is he's going to be the conservative David Hogg, right? So David Hogg is going. He's already announced that he's going to be running, and he's
I
a
suggest
child.
if anybody ever listens to us that they don't make that choice. I don't
Oof.
think he's a good. Let's just let the kid move on and go be a firefighter somewhere or something.
Sure.
He could
No,
be some hero.
I'm down with that. No, I'm down with that. So
No.
okay. So anyway, just that's crazy. That's crazy stuff.
But
But
that's what's
right
happening.
now,
Mhm.
until that case gets overturned, and I do think it will. I don't think it's gonna. You could
Yeah,
call it a prediction. Call it the PPP prediction. Like I'm
sure.
calling it. In the next 2 years, you'll see that case be overturned or greatly diminished by a different judge. Whatever. And
Even within its
he'll.
own system, I don't think he even has to appeal it for those numbers to be diminished down to the maximums.
Oh yeah. I think that's probably true.
It's
So
automatic.
but he has said he's definitely going to appeal it. But
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 even with
anyway,
that, he can just declare bankruptcy and they'll never see a penny.
but just recognize that they have set a precedent now, and you need
Right.
to
So every
understand they're going
person
to
on the
use
internet that
this.
lies to you should be sued into oblivion. Let's
Well,
start
I
with
totally agree.
CNN and MSNBC and every other liberal rag out there.
MS-13 NBC.
Aren't they the same thing? I mean, they get told
I
what
think
to
so.
say from the cartels, so
I think so. I think so. So
that's right. I don't like
so
the
hey,
tit for
listen, we
tat.
got
I would prefer to just ignore them until they go away.
I want to throw people back to last week's episode just in case they didn't see it. We did a
What do you mean by
reaction video last week
that?
of Deer Meat for Dinner's uh, um,
Is there an update on
his
that? He
res-
went down to Florida stuff.
he went
He
back down
helped people
again.
out.
Yeah, huh? Say that again.
Okay. No, I was just reminding people he helped people out in Florida. He
Yep.
went down.
And we've seen a few other ministries types go down. Grindstone Ministries is down. They've got two teams down there right now. They're sending a third. There's still a
Is that
lot of people. It's Bear Independent, yeah. And so there's still a lot of people suffering, still a lot of people displaced. I bring it up because I would love for people to go back and watch that video, because if you just skip ahead to our reaction video of Deer Meat for Dinner's situation, I want people to pay attention to what it looks like during an SHTF situation, when there are shootouts happening at gas stations, when the grocery stores are, the computers are down and they can only take cash. What it looks like when there's no bottled water, what it looks like when, those kinds of things, and when you're solely dependent on the generosity. And then I want you to extrapolate that out to what if that happens nationally or globally, and nobody can really respond in generosity because they're clamoring. Robert was able to respond in generosity. Bear is able to respond in generosity because they're sitting in homes that were not destroyed. They're sitting in lives that are not falling apart. They have their success and their preps in place so that they could be generous, and a lot of people did not. So
Mhm.
so if you haven't watched last week's episode, it's one of our best. In my opinion, I went back and watched part of it. I think we had some really great information inside of that. Phil made some great points. I think we gave you a few shopping list items that you need to go take a look at. But anyway, so check out last week's episode if you missed it. I just wanted to plug the show from a week
Mm. Yeah, go back and watch all our episodes.
ago. Exactly. And
Don't
share
tell
it
us
with your
how bad.
friends.
Yeah.
Hit like
Go,
and subscribe and all the other YouTubey things we're supposed to say
go ahead
to
and do a
look like
reaction
assholes on
video
the
to
internet.
show how stupid we are. Yeah. Yeah. Well, those are good points. Why, widely spread disasters are certainly more difficult for people to get help in, because so many, who's coming to help. But we you need to be prepared to self-help is kind of
Yeah.
our large point. Don't be one of those people that needs someone to come in and save you. Be prepared to save yourself. So I always prefer
Bold
to just
bold
act.
warrior bold warrior jumped in and he just said people in Oregon wildfire fighters going down to help with Ian now. Yes, if worldwide it's kind of fend for yourself. Yeah. You're absolutely right, bold warrior. 100%. No question about it.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
we
excited
give people a
to
hard
hear that those firefighters are headed down there. That's great.
sure. Yeah,
Okay,
cool.
so let's talk a little bit about the fact that the White House, Uncle Tetchy himself, um,
Sniffy.
um, the sniffer in chief, has ordered the White House to prep for a to prepare for a tactical nuke in Ukraine. Now, here's
Well,
here's why I
what exactly do we need to prepare for in Ukraine?
Okay, so I think that he issued that warning or the time to prepare. I don't think we've ever seen an exodus out of our stock market like we will see if a nuke goes off in Ukraine. I
Well, that's
think
very
that
possible, because honestly,
I
if you're still in the stock market right now, I sure hope it's all money you can lose. If you have not picked up on that over the last year, it's
yeah,
really going to be hard to convince you of anything.
yeah, 100%. And I think that we've
Let me
got to
see if
be
I can find the
really
story. Yeah, keep
I think
going. I
I think we've got to be really, really ready because I think our economy is sitting on a razor's edge as it is. Okay, I mean, and some would say it's not sitting on a razor's edge. It's actually already been cut, and we just haven't felt the full force of what is to come. Um, and I think you and Lydia unpacked that really well a few weeks ago. But if you just say just for the sake of conversation, that we're sitting on a razor's edge right now. If a tactical nuke goes off in Ukraine,
mhm.
um, our economy is going to lose its mind for a season. And I think it could very well push us over the edge to a really irreparable place. So,
Not to worry, because we will immediately bounce into a support. role of selling arms to the players of World War III,
Sure.
like we did in the last war, and our
Sure.
economy will boom until we get to a point where we go in and participate ourselves.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You
Because
know,
Democrats love war.
they love war, man.
They love war.
Yeah,
And
the
you can't
arms
expect
dealers love war.
somebody who's out of his mind in his 80s and who's been in politics for 47, 50 years to reinvent the playbook. I mean, he's just going to do what he's always done.
Yeah, the neocons and the neolibs are they're 100% committed for us to go to war. And so, and if not actually go to war, boots on the ground war, they're going to be the puppet masters pulling the strings from behind the scenes. So, so I think that everybody's got to be really, really paying attention to that. And listen, guys, I think Putin has said over and over again over the last year, like if we're pushed up against the wall, if we're pushed up against the wall, we will absolutely use nuclear weapons. And I think that what you need to understand is this retreat, this like Ukraine, like, hey, we made progress, woo, everybody's we're doing great, everybody check it out. That
Tactical
stuff,
retreat. Yeah.
that is going to be the thing that they use and go, well, our back was against the wall. Yeah, they were advancing, and we had to stop, we had to shut this thing down. I don't think we're going to see full blown Minutemen flying across the sky, that kind of thing yet. I still think it's a very strong possibility. But I think that ultimately what we need to prepare for, when Uncle Touchy tells the White House to get ready, that this, get ready for a tactical nuke to go off in Europe, what that should scream to us is
Get
that
ready
we
for
need to
emergency
prepare.
power things to happen that we're not going to like. Get ready for them to
Exactly.
declare states of emergency where they can circumvent our rule of law and constitutional rights.
Exactly.
Um, I was looking for the story. I saw it on Daily Wire initially, and I haven't been able to find it since, but it's all over. It did get picked up by Associated Press. So the headline says U.S. states that wish to join Russia will be considered by Putin.
So U.S. states that want us to see to join Russia. That's
I
awesome.
don't
Who could they be talking about, Phil? Who can they? I mean, who
know.
could they be
Weird.
talking about? Anybody specific? I mean, maybe a
It's
state with
funny.
a large number of Russian citizens.
He's made a lot of state. Russia has made a lot of statements in recent years, especially with Putin wanting to return Russia to its glory of pulling back historically Russian land, and much of
Which
Russia
counts
considers
as.
Alaska to be there.
There it is.
Yeah. Hey,
There it is.
so we'll see how that goes. I have no problem shooting Russians. That sounds like a good
Okay.
time to me. They're
I
a
don't
little
know.
harder to pick out than the Chinese, but
I don't know who this is because it says Facebook user.
what's
Sorry,
that?
everybody. If
Yeah.
you comment on Facebook, please shift your comment over to YouTube.
Oh,
We can
user.
actually see who you are. But
I don't know my phones. I can't look at it.
yeah, but when your McDonald's
What did it say?
spokesman's trying to sell prepping to people, I'd love to hear more about that, Facebook user. Please, please, please. I want to know what you're talking about. Elaborate, elaborate. And Bold Warrior chimed back in and he says, I think we
Is
need
that
to
like the
prepare
you should?
economy wise. Sorry, let me finish with Bold.
Yeah,
Let me finish
you
with Bold's
should.
comment here. I can
Sure.
actually. Why am I not just putting it on the screen?
Okay.
I think I have the skills. We have the
Yeah.
technology. Economy wise,
Oh,
um, but for our part of the economy, so fires, bad winter or hurricanes, tornadoes, as much as possible, bad snow raised, be able to bug in for a month in case of snow. Absolutely, I totally agree. You
a
need to be
month? Yeah, minimum.
abs like that is the place to start.
A
Everybody,
month is not very long.
Bold Warrior. I don't know if I know you personally or not. I don't know if we're friends in real life or not. But I'll say this: that's the place. The month. Like if you look at prepping, if you're watching this show, going, man, I need some pastors to comfort me. How do I do this? Like, how do I feel? How do I get ready for this? Start with a month. A month is a great place to begin the conversation. So you just go, okay,
It's
how
great.
much
Yeah.
food does my family need of non-perishable food items that I can live on for a month without having to go to the store, without having to scramble down. And then I would say, you learn from the pandemic, everybody. You learn from the shamdemic. I don't know anybody that calls it that. Can I trademark shamdemic? Anyway,
Well, I think
um,
it's scamdemic I hear quite a bit, but yeah.
right. And I've heard plandemic, but I haven't shamdemic. I like that. Anyway, but
YouTube
uh,
Bold Warrior says, don't forget about your barter and trade items.
barter and trade items as well. That's exactly right. But what I
Yeah.
was going to say is, don't forget the month worth of food. You also have to have a month worth of poo planned. Okay, so like you got the food, you got to have the TP. Okay, so can you
A month worth of
have it?
TP is not very much.
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all. But so do
I
you
mean,
have
that's one.
enough food for your family for a month, enough water or ability to make water for your family for a month? Do you have a plan to deal with if the water's off, bad winter, pipes frozen, you can't flush the toilet? Do you have a luggable loo that you can, poop in Walmart bags and take them out back and dig them in, bury them in a hole? I mean, like those kinds of things. Like, there's ways to deal with it. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. A month is a great place to start, and you can do it so cheaply, right, Phil? I mean, talk. I mean, beans and rice in buckets. It's still affordable, people.
Most
You
people can
can.
go 2 weeks without eating, so you don't really need that much.
Well, I suppose that's true, but I mean, I prefer to face a month like that with like food that I like. So,
I'm not
you
going
know,
hungry. That first month is when I'm going to go collect from everybody else.
He's, Phil has a list of places that had Biden signs in their yard.
I
So
do
he's
not
like,
have a list. It is not written in lipstick. You will not find it when you raid my house.
well, it can be a list and only exist in your brain. It's still a list.
I don't even know what's in my brain, so good luck with that.
That's true. That's true. The Air Force tried to shake lots of things out of your brain,
I ain't
with
talking about.
like buses and other stuff, so so anyway, I think Bold Warrior brings up some really really great suggestions. Thank you for your input
Hey,
there.
and we appreciate the comments. Thank you for being
Yeah,
involved.
we
It
absolutely
makes it a
love
little
it.
more fun.
A whole lot more fun, and it actually makes us rethink something that we're supposed to be talking about at the end of the show. But
Yeah.
do you know me, sir, from Lakeview years ago? You were my pastor. You changed my son's life forever. Oh man, okay, I know who that
Hey,
is.
don't give away too much personal information. The
I'm
interwebs are
not. Yeah,
forever.
I'm not gonna out you.
He's
I'm not
got
gonna
it
tell
from
you
that.
about your name. I'm not gonna say your name, but I love
Got,
you, man.
he's
I
got it
now
from
now I
that.
know. Now I know
All
who
right.
you are.
Heck,
Okay,
you might even
so
know who I am then.
yeah, he's probably met you. Okay, so moving forward, we've got Mr. Putin has got his finger hanging over the tactical nuke button. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got a massive border crisis going on. I think at this point, just this year alone, we're looking at how many? 2 million?
Well, Martha's Vineyard's already declared a state of emergency over it. They've
And
had
Martha's
like
Vineyard got rid of their 30 immediately. So like they haven't had, I think Martha's Vineyard's already built a wall, a big,
Hey, New
beautiful
York
wall.
City's declared a state of disaster, and they're getting federal funds
Jeez, that's awesome.
because life is fair.
Because life is fair. That's
Life
exactly
is
right.
fair.
I
Anyway,
think, man, have you been listening to anything coming out of Florida? Have you been listening to DeSantis this week? He's just been amazing. Like that
no,
dude, that guy.
I've been listening to sheriff after sheriff talk about shooting people. And did you hear about the one guy? He said because they didn't figure out who shot the guy, and they said, "Hey, don't worry, please do come forward. We'd like to pay for your training because next time we'd like you to actually kill him." Now, now that's a sheriff
Free trip to
when
Thunder
he
Ranch.
says you had every right to shoot that guy, and we're glad you did, but next time we'd really prefer if you'd just kill him.
Was that the sheriff that keeps saying shoot him and shoot him a
No,
lot? There's a sheriff that says repeatedly, "We're gonna shoot you and we're gonna shoot you a lot." Like I love that guy. That guy's
I
awesome.
like him. They had a they had a death this last week.
YouTube, we're quoting other people. We're not saying that ourselves. Okay, like listen, yeah. They had a death. They had a service death this week.
They had a line of duty death, 21-year-old officer, and it was friendly fire, so blue on blue. Awful
Those are the
situation,
worst.
and a lot of blue on blue is very preventable with training and everything else. And from what I gather, and from what the sheriff said, and from whatever, it really does sound like the only way that this would have not happened is if the criminal had not pointed guns at the cops. Um,
Yeah.
because it was like it went through a wall and hit a guy, and there was just no way for anyone to know, and he was in the right position. It just bad, bad luck.
Yeah.
But very preventable by a felon not pointing firearms at police.
Yep.
They
Yep.
were there for a warrant. So anyway,
It's true. It's
bad
true.
people doing bad people things, and they are dangerous for everybody around them. Which is why we should all follow the advice of sheriffs in Florida and just shoot them all.
Shoot him a lot. Shoot him a lot.
Shoot them all. Shoot them a lot.
Um,
Let's be done with it. We can
I
stop crime in one weekend in America.
well, there's that.
We should all get together,
Um,
do our job.
I think that there was another story that popped out that was mildly intriguing to me. Did you see that Tulsi Gabbard defected from the? She finally said, "I'm no longer a part of the DNC."
I don't know. One, I don't ever trust defectors. And two, the fact that she waited until now, but somehow could stomach it for the last several years. Um,
I would
she
in
should just
her
go away.
in her defense, okay, I appreciate your point there, but in her defense,
And there's no way to defend being liberal. So you're not, anyway.
she has been very, very vocal for the last few years, calling out the Democrat Party, and I think that she is what I would call a progressive, not a liberal or a leftist. My biggest problem for her is I think she's keying up to run. I think she's keying up to do a presidential bid, and I would never be able to vote for a Hindu. First of all, sorry, that is not a religion that I could get behind my president
Not a
being a part of.
congruent belief system for our country.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. I think she's got some very reasonable things to say, but I think she's still pro killing babies, and she's still pro
Yep.
taking away most of our firearms. And so,
Yep.
and she's a
I
veteran,
can't.
and she's a lot more level-headed than a bunch of the progressives out there.
She's
I could
less
still
evil than a lot of evil people.
There you go. And so
A
so
baby
anyway,
killer and grabber. So
I just found it very interesting, and I get it. I get why she finally just let go and said, "Look, like there's no there's no there's no riding that ship." I think she's been trying to fight from the inside for her belief system, and I think she's finally said like they're not committed to the values of the party. They're committed to becoming communists, and I can
well, that's
appreciate
true.
her
That's
acknowledging
true.
that. You know.
I heard that from Don Young in person before he died. These
Hmm.
are these are not the liberals that he had been working. He says these are not the liberals I've been working with for his whatever it was 40 years in Congress. And
Yeah.
he goes, these communists scare me.
Yeah.
Out of the words of I was personally there 10 feet away from him when he said it.
Wow.
He very much begged the people of Alaska to get involved as much as possible. He revealed some of the underhanded and shady stuff that the leftists were doing in our state and in DC, and begged people to get involved and wake up and pay attention.
Yep.
But
100%.
anyway, well, and then he
100%.
shortly died after that. So I don't know. We could spread that conspiracy theory because it'd be about the third or fourth Alaskan politician that has stood up against publicly and said the truth and then died within a couple of months later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ted Stevens was killed similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe Begich as well.
Yeah.
Not the Begich everybody's used to hearing. Their father actually was
Oh,
back in
okay.
the 60s, I believe, or maybe in the early 70s. I don't recall. I'm sure people could correct me on that. The point being, and it doesn't only happen to Alaska politicians.
Yeah.
Politicians get taken out, not frequently. We don't hear about it. It's not all the time, but it does
Well,
happen, and it has
I
happened.
think
And Kennedy
Hillary's
got
body
taken out.
count. I think Hillary's body count's like up to 60 now. friends
Oh,
and
who?
coworkers and
Geez,
colleagues that have just mysteriously disappeared or, had heart
wow.
attacks or like died in kayaking accidents when they're professional level kayakers, stuff like that.
Paid hit. I mean, it's been getting more and more obvious. I mean, the one with the FedEx driver who was not right. He was it. He stole a FedEx truck, stole a guy's uniform, beat a guy up, something like that. Like ripped him off, carjacked him,
Yep.
drove up to the house, acting as he was a hitman. Walked up to the door and shot everybody there. Um, and those ties were like really close to the Clintons.
Oh,
It was
they're
obvious that they did it. And of
so
course,
100%.
the DOJ, whoever the DA's office, whoever it was in that jurisdiction, they never even chased it. They didn't
Yeah.
even attempt to go
Right.
figure that case out.
I
So
mean,
that's how you know you're
honest.
really in the liberal shithole, is when they just won't even investigate it because
Well, it's not a matter of if we're going to have a civil war in this country. It's a matter of acknowledging the fact that we're in one now.
we're already in one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot convince me otherwise. Now, we could try to describe the phases of war, the various levels
100%.
of violence and action, the amount of the population actively involved in it, right? We could have those debates to try to further define what phase of the war we are in, but we are
Yeah.
in a phase of war right now.
Well, I mean, couldn't you make the argument that, CW1, um,
Mm.
and I say it that way because CW2 is amongst us and on the way and or right now. I think one could make the argument that CW1 um, started what, 2, 3 years before it officially started. Like, I mean, the conflicts were beginning, the people were being disappeared, the policies were being written, you know, the manipulation was happening, the South
The
was
the
being
beginning
strangled.
phases are yeah, the beginning phases happen economically. There's an
Yeah.
economic level of war that happens. Then we start to
Oh, kind of
trample on
like kind of
rights,
like when
individual
banks
rights.
start fining people when they don't say the right things.
Right. Have you been able to? Uh, uh, if you've not jumped ship from PayPal, you should. I've been
Oh yeah.
working all week at it. I got some emails today that I think maybe I'm finally getting our business accounts closed with them. Um, so we went ahead and shut down our lines of credit, our our merchant accounts for payment processing. So about once, maybe twice a year, we would have a client that would request to pay through PayPal, and so we had the ability to do that because it's a pain to set it up. You can't just do
Right.
it instantly. It does take time to be able to process those things as a company.
Right.
So I didn't mind maintaining because they didn't have annual costs or anything like that. Most credit card processing have monthly and annual fees, and PayPal does not. They just have a higher percentage,
Sure.
and they don't distribute the money for 21 days, so that's very frustrating.
Sure.
Uh, but no, we this was a great catalyst point. As I told most of the agents that I spoke to this week, you guys have been a shitstorm for years.
Yeah.
You've been making you know woke political decisions that you shouldn't be making as a business
Yeah.
for years. You just finally stepped over a line and screwed up enough that now I have customers that won't do business with me if I say that I will do business with you. And so that's the only excuse I need to dump you because
Yeah. Agreed.
get woke, go broke. So,
Get woke, go broke.
but anyway,
Absolutely.
it's not easy when you're that entrenched into a company with lines of credit and merchant accounts and contracts. It's not real easy to cancel.
Yeah.
But I think we're on the home stretch. I think almost everything will be closed either today or Monday. So that's good. But I was told by multiple people, "Oh, that was a mistake. We didn't really mean it. That was never supposed to go out." Yeah,
But it
but
did.
they have actually fined people in the past. I don't remember. Um, it was Drinking Bros, so take the information with a grain of salt. Louder with Crowder, they post all their references. Drinking Bros, they're just kind of funny. Um, they're more like Tim Pool. Like he's not necessarily wrong, but you're not getting it in a well thought out with citations and references. You know,
Yeah.
and I love Tim Pool, sort of. I mean, we're not homies, that's for sure. We do not agree politically and religiously,
Right.
um, but I appreciate. I can't get this mic where I want it today. I do appreciate a lot about them, and I like supporting young people that are waking up and hive minded and becoming preppers. So
Yeah,
I love watching the whole cast house prepping stuff, and they got chickens and they got a bunker and the whole thing going on. But um,
sure.
all that to say, their sources are not quite as tight or shown as
Right.
others. But
Yes. Yeah. That's accurate. That's how I would describe my perception of Tim Pool. I think he has good guests on. I think they have lively dialogue. That's about as far down the Tim Pool rabbit hole as I go.
there's some entertainment, and he does get some of the people he gets on his show I'm interested in. Um, so that's good. He's had Alex Jones.
Yeah.
So I really only know Alex Jones from Alex Jones being on Joe Rogan, being on Tim Pool, being with,
Right.
I think he got on Drinking Bros. I'm not sure. He's been on Crowder several times. I think he was also did one with Bert. How do you say his last name?
Kreischer.
Krishner,
Kreischer.
Kreischer. He's funny. He's also not to be taken serious and all over the place, and definitely don't agree politically, but he is very freaking funny.
Yeah.
Um, and on a road of discovery,
Yeah.
a couple foot steps forward and a couple steps backwards.
Well, he's
So,
been on
and he's
quite a weight loss journey like me. I think he's lost a lot of weight. I think he's trying to get healthy. I think he's cutting back on his drinking. I think he's trying to be a healthier person. And that often leads you down other roads as well. And so my prayer for him is that he finds Jesus. And I pray that Tim Pool finds Jesus and Barack Obama
yeah.
finds Jesus. Like I want them all. I don't want to see anybody go to hell. I want them all to know. I want everybody to know who Jesus is. Now we know that it's not going to happen, but I mean, like I'm down. I'm down with it. Like I want people to know who Jesus is. Like that
I guess it's going to
makes me
happen
happy.
eventually. So yeah.
Sure.
All right. I
So
can't have a pastor and want people to come to know Jesus and stop being evil, but
right,
I can say that.
right. Yeah, I want people to know
I don't
Jesus
hate
and stop being
everybody.
evil. Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
hate
I,
anybody, but
that's
some
exactly right.
people do need to be removed from their ability to continue to do harm to others.
I
I
definitely agree.
would prefer that they plead their case directly with God sooner than
I
later.
definitely agree. 100%. Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, so
What else?
practically speaking, all right, let's take a look at just
Practically
like the
speaking, what should you do given that we have nuclear war coming to the planet? Arguably are already in a civil war, and also very arguably already in World War III.
and
So
very and arguably looking at just a total economic collapse of if not our economy, the
the
dollar in general.
fallout
So,
of being in two different wars, one at home and one at abroad,
my
possibly
head
with the
is
abroad coming to us.
my head is spinning over the fact that
Okay.
there's like five different SHTF level events like swirling amidst everything. It's like I want to prepare for like we've talked about in the past. I want to prepare for EMP. I want to prepare for Civil War. I want to prepare for what do I want to prepare? But like ultimately, like
Earthquake,
let's get
hurricane.
practical. Let's talk a little bit
Okay.
about what we can be doing in lieu of knowing that there's a real high likelihood that Putin's going to go. And when he does, we're at least going to have an economic reset goof, like just absolute shit show. So
Get out
like
of debt or
get out of
get
debt.
your debt positions to healthy places.
There you go.
So a healthy place to be in debt for real estate is somewhere at or below 50% of the value of real estate. That's a
There you
healthy
go.
place that
Yeah.
historically has held water. In our modern
Right.
times, we say under 80% is a healthy position. But if you look at volatile times or back a couple hundred years, being under 50% is really where the safety zone is. Being debt free 100% is not practical or possible for everybody. But what is possible is to trim the fat, get rid of the dead weight, sell off the toys, get to a point where your positions of physical things are not owed money and anything that you require, right? So if you've got one pickup truck and you needed to go to work, get that thing out of debt.
Yeah.
Get it out of debt, get it in a position of good tires, good working order. I've got a sensor going out in my EPA system again
Yep.
because everybody who works for the EPA actually hates America and the world. Um, get that thing off your pickup truck.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I'm working on.
exactly.
I
Yep.
get rid of the stupid DEF system. I can't keep getting 10 to 12 miles per gallon and having sensors go off and telling itself to be in limp mode because liberals
Yep.
hate anybody who drives a truck.
Yep.
We're going to get rid of that system and punch anybody in the face that says anything about it. Move on.
Yeah, I totally
Get
agree.
those things taken care of. You think you need tools? Get your tools now. What do you
Yep.
need to survive in the scenarios that we're describing? So get healthy it physically, right?
Mhm.
Get down to a manageable weight. Get down
Yep.
to get your knee problems, your teeth problems. You talked about that last week or week before. Get your
Yep.
teeth problem solved. Get your, if you think you need to do a knee replacement, do it now.
Yep.
Do it now. Get your health stuff taken care of.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you how important that is. And like one of the things that my family has seen. So there may be a
Mhm.
step before that. Like what someone in my family who will remain nameless, but someone in my family needed a knee
Yeah,
replacement. They made that person completely quit smoking 30 days of no nicotine use whatsoever,
the doctors.
before they would be willing to cut her. So they did not. So
Kind of
you
medical
may
thing.
be
What's that
you
about?
may be 30 days blood clots and the things, and they just said that the
Okay.
healing process is better when you're not a smoker. And I think it's a manipulator to make people stop smoking, which I mean is the healthier choice, but at the same time grown adults get to be grown adults. That I'm pro freedom, but anyway, they would not provide her surgery without her capitulating. So you might be a month to 3 months away if you decided, you know what, I'm going to listen to the prep pastors and I'm going to go get this medical procedure. Understand that you're 60 to 90 days from that happening. Okay. Um, and then you might be another 30 days on top of that if you've got some bad habits that they want you to deal with. Like when I had weight loss surgery, they were like, listen, man, you got to lose 25 pounds before we'll even talk to you, before you can even before you can even get into our program. And I was like, okay, let's go. And I lost 80 pounds before the surgery on my own, in fact, and it took me a year to lose as much weight as I had lost before the surgery from the surgery. So like, do with that what you will. If you're thinking about weight loss surgery, I think you can do it. You can do it on your own. You don't need to spend a bunch of money.
Oh,
But
it
anyway,
can be done on your own for sure.
it
Yeah.
can be done.
I
It
don't
can
think
be
there's
done on your
anyone
own.
where it can't. Biggest loser,
Um,
they all lost it on their own
yeah,
and
100%.
most every one of them gained it back.
Yeah,
Um,
most of them, well,
the key to keeping it off.
because motivation will fail you. Motivation will leave you.
Yeah.
Motivation's a liar. Motivation will leave you when you need it most. It's about discipline. It's about walking. Well,
Yeah.
so Phil was on. Phil was
The
on here before the
foundations, right?
show, huh?
Okay. Well, I
Phil
was
was
just
on
going to say
before
the
the
foundation,
show.
just like with religion, if your foundations are not there and you're making decisions about walls when your foundations are cracked,
There it is.
get down to the root of the problem and fix your roots.
Well, there it is. I mean, we were talking before the show when I
Okay.
still had some family milling about the Homestead Kitchen, right? So before they had all left for the evening, there was a bottle of Coca-Cola sitting
Oh,
on the counter all day long,
yeah.
and I've been
And your
and I've
family
been
was
making
surprised that you didn't. Yeah.
and I no, well they weren't surprised at all.
Oh,
But
okay.
like I was just like I was like making hot sauce. I've been in here all day. Like I mean, aside from dealing with every bag of feed that I touched today exploded. I got dog food all over the kennel. I got pig food all over the
Oh,
trailer. Like it was like every bag of food that I touched exploded like a water balloon today. It pissed me off so bad. But other than that, I've been in here all day making hot sauce, right? And so it's just that time of year, and I got orders to fill. I got people who order my hot sauce, and I'm trying to get that out, and I'm trying to stockpile enough for us for the next year because it'll be a year before we get any more peppers. And so anyway, all that being said, I'm like, my stepmother's talking about making brownies with the Coca-Cola instead of water. And I'm going, are you trying to kill me? Like, cause I've been all day long, I've been like side eyeing this bottle of Coca-Cola. Like, I know that I cannot drink that bottle. I wanted to, but discipline says no. Like, I didn't have to wonder where the motivation was going to come from. I mean, I get little treats here and there. Like yesterday, I went and did a hospital visit with a dear brother, and I dropped him off a milkshake. He was like, I asked him if there was any kind of You boasting out the saltwater taffy, you turd. Um, and I said, would anything be a blessing to you? And he was like, man, chocolate milkshake would just make my day. And I'm like, dude, I got you. And Springfield, Missouri has the best chocolate milkshake on the planet. It's actually a chocolate custard shake.
Oh,
And it's so I got him a chocolate milkshake, right? Well, I got myself a little miniature, just a little miniature, a little bit of frozen custard, you know, and I didn't even finish it. Like I ate like 2/3 of it and I threw the rest of it away. That is discipline doing its work. Okay. You know,
I do that with soda. So if I have a Coke like what you're describing,
yeah.
I can't but 1 or 2 sips and like I'm done. I can't do Coke for another day at least. Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm in the angry one.
these are a saving grace for me.
Yeah.
Total
Which one's
fat,
that one?
0. This
Yeah.
is the Kirkland sparkling ice. So
Oh, they have
five.
what do they use for sugar? It's aspartame or something like that, right?
Oh,
What is it?
it's garbage. It's not good for you. I think it's sucralose is what it is.
Sucralose. Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, sucralose. So it's not as bad as
There's
aspartame by any
something
stretch.
in the natural flavors of this. 10 milligrams of sodium. So that's why when you
Okay,
drink these angry waters, you're still
right.
thirsty when you're done.
That's exactly right. But no sodium, no
Right.
sugar. So
There you
so
go.
even though this has got a little bit of sucralose in it, no sodium
Just a little
doesn't
bit.
help me.
Yeah.
So way, 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 way better for me, and it keeps me hydrated. So like
I actually
um,
water I cut them
oh, you
like
do.
50% water. I do because they're too
They're
sweet for me.
too sweet for you. Got it. The other thing that's been really
Somehow
helpful, especially
I can eat these. No, I can't actually. That one was too
um,
much.
the so the
I
other
almost
thing
need
that's
a
been
water
really,
now.
really helpful. The other thing that's been really helpful, and it's a great prep. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Here, hold on a second. Let me go grab it. I'll show you.
Okay. All right. Let's see what it is. Man, I'm really thirsty now. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna have to text an assistant to bring me something to drink.
Well, yeah,
Um,
you could always do that. That's not wrong. You should definitely
if my
text
assistants have not left the office already, I'm
your
gonna
production assistants.
right. My production assistant. Yes. I
I
have a
I may or
10-year-old
may not
who's
I
really
may or
getting
may
into
not have a
photography.
broken I may or may not have a broken tailbone from a mountain bike
Oh,
excursion this week. I'm pretty sure I
oh,
do. I'm pretty sure I have a broken
that's not
tailbone.
fun. I
It's
had
bad.
one. They're not fun,
Well, I had
and they
one
last
years
a long
ago.
time. And sometimes they can mess with you for years. Like you can have to go get that little chunk of bone removed.
Oh,
Do
it's
you think you
bad.
have a loose? It's not displaced though, is it? Do you have a tail now?
I don't think so. I hope not. But I
Have
mean,
you
I'm
looked?
still fat. I no, I haven't looked. I don't know. But anyway, so what I was going to say as far as preps go,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
these guys
I
are
have a bunch of those.
great. They have
They last
sucralose
forever.
in them. They have sucralose in them. They last forever.
I get the ones
They
without caffeine. That's the caffeine one.
Yeah, this is caffeine. The energy with B vitamins. They also have one with electrolytes, which is a good one to have too.
Yes, I have those.
So I've been keeping these in my bike pack.
Yeah,
So when I fill up a water
yeah. I have
bottle,
yeah.
I throw a little bit of that in there.
Those are
Give me a
really
little
popular overseas.
really popular overseas.
So in
Is
the military, there's bottled water
overseas water?
everywhere. Bottled water, bottled water, bottled water. Um, you got to put some flavor in there. True Lemon
Yeah,
was out a long time ago. They had the little tiny True Lemon packets,
those are good.
um,
Those are really
which
good.
runners have been using those for recovery for a long time.
Sure.
But the little Mio and similar stuff. But there are some off-brand like Walmart stuff that are not good for you. There's a bunch of kind that are similar. So really look at those ingredients. Not all of them are a good idea.
Well, and you certainly don't want this to be every time you drink water. Like sometimes you just need to drink regular water. Like I drank about a
You
half a
know,
gallon of regular
actually,
water today and a couple of ice.
just the
So
tiniest bit I find works for me, especially if you're stuck somewhere living in a city where you're drinking recycled poop water and chlorine.
yeah,
That sucks.
it does. And here's the other thing that this is valuable. It doesn't weigh anything. You can have this
Lasts
in your
forever.
get home pack. If you have to filter water, just because it's filtered and it's
Or,
safe doesn't mean it's going to taste good. Throw a couple squirts of this in it.
or
It's going to
worse
help
yet,
you be
you have to do the pill
motivated.
system.
Yeah, if you got to
If
do
you have
that,
to do the iodine chlorine tablet, shake it up, wait 30-minute thing, you're going to want to add some flavor.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You definitely will. So,
Or
very
filter it through
practical
dirty stuff.
prep. These are not expensive. How many servings does this blasted thing have? This is like
Long time. Must be like a month or 2.
18. This thing has 18 servings. This is going to make you 18 bottles of water.
Or you
And
could
probably
easily
more
mix
than that.
more
I'm going to
strength.
probably get closer to
Yeah.
20 because I don't put much in here. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
put much in
You don't. I agree. Yep.
here. The black
They
cherry is
make all their
good.
flavors. Black cherry is good. I like the
Uh,
lemons and the lemon raspberries.
I'll
Raspberry
tell you what,
lemonade.
not that Mio's ever going to listen to our show, but if Mio, if you're listening, lose the coloring. What's the deal with the coloring? You don't need the coloring. I don't need blue
I
citrus. Okay,
well,
like your
I like to
citrus
know if I
tastes
put
good.
something in the water, I like it to change the color. I don't care what the color is.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, well, I want to know which one has flavor and which one does not.
Okay,
Because I don't think you can smell it unless you put it in full strength.
that's true.
But
But you could see it. Okay, all right. I see the value of the color,
know
I
what I mean?
suppose. But
It's like
yeah,
having a spitter in one hand and your water bottle in the other. You
no,
really need those to look different.
nope. No, not a problem that I deal with. Not a problem that I ever have to worry about.
Well, I don't anymore, but you know, you'll only do it a couple of times, and your
Well,
child
maybe
will
he'll.
only do it once because then your wife
Well,
will never let it happen.
that's right.
No.
You get beat blind, deaf, and stupid. So other practical things. Listen, um,
Okay,
buckets and gamma lids.
money, cash.
You can order them on Amazon. You can go to your feed store. The very useful for your preps. If you're
Gamma,
going to store rice and
gamma lids
beans,
are awesome, but if you're only going to get into it the one time, you don't have to buy the expensive gamma lids. You can just buy a regular ceiling lid.
it's true. It's true. That is true. That's a good point. That's a good point. But if you are going to get into it, and it's something like let's so for me, I will do Mylar bags inside of a bucket with a
Yeah,
gamma lid on it. Okay. Now, some people say that's really super redundant. Well, when I go to use it, okay,
yeah.
I want to be able to get in and out of the bucket easily, right? I want to be able to use that bucket for other things. And I don't know about you, but I hate dealing with bucket lids. Regular bucket lids make me angry. They hurt my fingers. Because I am a
They're a
lazy.
one-time thing. That's for the stuff that I'm putting away, never to get into again.
Right, right. Long term preps. But like so my wife has asked for a wheat meal for her birthday coming up next month,
Mhm.
and because she doesn't want to use store bought flour anymore, she wants to just use wheat berries, grind her flour when she needs to bake some bread. And those of you out there who have
Mhm.
tasted the amazing awesomeness that is the Pretty Blonde Lady bread, and then you know that she knows how to bake. And so I'm excited about it. Everything I've ever read says
Oh,
that
it tastes so much better.
they say that most people who are gluten intolerant would not be gluten intolerant if they just made their own bread from wheat that they milled themselves.
Right.
Because the enzymes are only alive for like what, 3 days, 72 hours or something like that. And then that flour on the shelf is dead. There's no life in it anymore. And so, like right now, I mean, I did a short on Free State Homestead. If you haven't subscribed to Free State Homestead, what are you waiting for? But Free State Homestead, I did a short video to a long video that's coming out next week, about sprouts and sprouted barley to feed my animals. So I'm turning
Mhm.
5 pounds of I'm turning 5 pounds of barley seed into 15 pounds of
Yeah.
fodder for my chickens, my doves, and my pigs. And I've cut
Do
my
like
feed
200 pounds
bill
of bacon.
to make
Yeah.
200. I'm turning grass into bacon. But yeah.
God is
So
amazing.
yeah, God's an amazing God. We love him. So anyway, I say all that because I'm currently feeding about 75 animals for less than $10 a day because of sprouting.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
That really, really, really helps the cost effectiveness. When you've got 50 chickens out there, doing the 50 chicken thing, right? We're getting ready to butcher them in about 10 days, and maybe I need to butcher them a little bit early. I don't know. I've got to do the math on that because we got 20-degree temperatures coming Sunday and Monday, and now and then our temperatures will spike back up again. But if you've ever raised Cornish cross meat birds, they never put on all their feathers. Like, they don't ever get all their feathers before it's time to butcher them. They get to 5 and 6 pounds, and it's time to butcher them, and they start having heart attacks and dying before they even have, because they've just gotten so big. They got so big so fast. So I don't know. I might have to go take a look and see if I can cull some of them before the weather turns really, really cold. Now, I think we'll be okay. My plan was to butcher them at the end of next week. Yeah, looks like Nate over at Canadian Prepper just dropped a stressed out, they're getting ready video. I haven't watched it yet. It literally was just on my phone. I was looking at the date. We'll go over and check. I'll go over and check that out later tonight. But he does a lot of he does a lot of panic stuff, but he does get good intel. So I do watch some of
What area of the country is he in?
it. Does it matter? It's Canada. I don't care.
Oh, he's Canada. Oh,
Yeah, he's
Canadian. Is that Canadian Prepper? I
Canadian
can't
prep.
watch him. Yeah. All right. Well, people in Canada should freak out because you guys are way worse off than we are.
100%.
So you should be freaking out. You should be taking up arms and storming your government by now. But but we all know that Canadians are weak. So
I actually, you know what?
uh,
I don't know how I managed to get it in my algorithm, but like, there's some YouTube channel that keeps coming up in my algorithm that is like clips of conservatives railing Justin Trudeau in their parliament, and that's like, this is the most entertaining thing I've seen in a while. Like, they are actually standing up to that tyrant. They're actually telling him where he can put it and how he can get it back out again. And I'm
well,
proud of
as
them.
long as you're just telling him, it's not going to matter. So good luck with that.
That's right.
You cannot defeat evil with words. You can win small battles, but you cannot defeat them.
That's right.
The only way to defeat evil is to cut them off, preferably at the neck. France can show you
We can
how.
talk about that. We can talk about that in the bunker later. France can show you how.
Um,
Did you just reference France in a positive light? That's awesome.
well, those guys are nuts. Once you get them going, you
That's
know.
true.
Back
Somebody's trying to give
to
you
our
money.
list of things for beginners in the phase that we're at right now.
Yeah.
We started to say talk about finances a little bit. We got a little off track, but I would say do not have too much cash in your bank. Make sure you have enough cash for several months. If we're gonna go with the 1 month thing, go ahead. You'll be a baby prepper and prep for 30 days. Have 30 days worth of not just paying your bills, but buying your food and bribing, the guy at the store to sell you more toilet paper, whatever you're going to need, however much cash you're going to need. Have 30 days of that. Have 30 days of precious metals worth. So whatever dollar amount you need in cash, you need the equivalent amount in
Agreed.
precious
Yep.
metals
100%.
value. These are bare minimums.
Yeah.
So food, US dollar
Water.
cash,
Yeah.
which holds true for other countries. If you're in Mexico, you need 30 days worth of US dollar cash. If you're in Canada, you
Correct.
need 30 days worth of US dollars cash.
Correct.
Most I watched the documentary of Tim Kennedy and Nick Palmisano in the Send Me. If you haven't seen that, it's on Amazon Prime, and it is the documentary that describes what they did when they got out somewhere around 25,000 U.S. citizens out of Afghanistan during the fall,
Right. Right.
uh, and left, and all the stuff, the good and the bad. I would encourage you to go ahead and watch that if you'd like to have your eyes open. Having also read Tim Kennedy's book and talking with other people that were there at the same time, the
Yeah.
account is still pretty filtered, and they do hold back quite a bit. And I think even that much will be eye opening and shocking to the average American. So I don't remember if it's free or not. If it's not, go ahead and support them because they're still pulling people out. They are
Uh,
still. going
That's
into
called Send
Taliban
Me.
country and pulling Americans out. It's a documentary called Send Me, and you can find it on Amazon.
I will watch it because I respect you. I have a hard time giving any money to Paul Machado or Tim Kennedy, but they did do a lot of good things for folks in Afghanistan. So I'm gonna go watch it.
Go do it. Let's see. So, other than that, I would argue that you also need however many skirmishes you expect to get in 30 days. And for some people, that might be none because you run and hide. And for other people, it might be several. I would expect in 30 days to get
Right.
into some sort of altercation multiple times. You're going to need that much in ammunition. You're going to need that much, you know, think the 30-day thing is a great place to start as a baby prepper.
No, I totally agree. I think
30
I
days of
think that
medications.
that 30 days is a great starting point. I mean, FEMA's
I think in about
3 days is
day
laughable.
15 of using it, you're going to start freaking out because you're
Yeah,
going to realize this could go on longer than 30 days
100%.
and you're going to start rationing because you're running out in 20.
But it's just as a jumping off point. Like if you're going to put
Yeah.
together sustainability and preps that are going to last, start with a month.
I would challenge
Then you can build.
everybody, if you right now think you have 30 days covered, pick a date, start like tomorrow, and act as if you're using it for 7, just for a week, and see the holes
Right.
in your preps.
Yes,
Do not get
absolutely.
gas at the gas station. Do not do not use your debit card, credit card. Do not make a purchase at a store. Do not try, right? See if you can even just make it 7 days. How many of you could make it 7 days without going to a gas station?
I think a lot of people would go into freak out mode.
That's going to give you an idea of what 30 days should actually look like.
Sure.
Because gas stations will be closed.
100% they will.
Ask
100%.
everyone in Florida.
Ask everyone in Florida. That's exactly right. Or if you were
So,
paying
yeah, great
attention,
place
or
to
if you were
start.
paying attention during coronavirus, the governor was of Oregon was 30 minutes away from shutting down
Yeah.
all gas stations in the state of Oregon to keep people from traveling.
Yeah, you guys
It,
got some nutty stuff going on.
it
The
almost went sideways.
Oregon is so crazy now that Phil Knight from Nike is jumping ship to the conservative side. Did you see that story this week? He donated $1 million to whoever they consider to be their conservative candidate right now for governor.
Christine
Um,
Drazen.
I don't know who the candidate is. I could care less, and I guarantee they're not really a conservative. They're just less crazy than the other crazies there. But yeah, I mean, when Phil Knight of Nike says the liberals are too liberal, that's pretty far.
No, I totally agree. Well, hey, listen, man,
Yeah.
it's been about an hour and 20 minutes. I
Call
just
it.
want to say thank you to
Wow.
our Patreon supporters. Thank
Yeah.
you to Bold Warrior. Thank you to Facebook user. And thank you
Yeah.
to
Thanks for being involved.
Perceptive
Facebook user.
Strategies. So you guys will
Yeah.
love it. We
Let's
are
make
going to
the
be
announcement.
yeah, we're going to be making some changes to our format just a little bit.
Time
Even
to
though
call it
tonight was
season 2.
tonight was a great
It's time.
a great reason not to, but we
What?
are going to do a live once a month.
Yeah.
But we are going to
For
be going
something.
to an uploaded video once a week. We're going to tweak which day of the week that comes out, so please be advised that there's going to be some changes coming down the pipe as to what day we go live. Currently, we're in one of these like kind of try to be sort of mediocre for everyone, which means we're excellent for no one.
Yeah.
And so we're not great timing for me, and we're not great timing for Alaska. It's kind of one of those deals. So anyway, our weekly show is going to be an uploaded video, except for one of the shows per month will be live. Our Patreon members, which will probably soon become Locals members if they follow us over to that platform, our Patreon members will get the show before everybody else. So just know that they will get intel before you get intel, because they're awesome and they support us and we love them. So the show will get uploaded to Patreon before it gets uploaded to YouTube and all the other things, which gives us just a little bit of freedom, because right now we can stream to Facebook and YouTube, We can't stream to YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble yet. And so we'll be able to upload to Rumble. We'll be able to upload to Facebook, and we'll be able to until they kick us off. And we'll be able to upload to YouTube
And
until
obviously
they kick us off.
locals and Patreon, which are paid sites, we'll go ahead and put the videos there too for unpaid subscribers, members. I'm not sure if
Right,
that's possible in locals. No, it is on Patreon. We
right.
can have stuff that's out for just people who are, subscribed, kind of like how YouTube is.
Yeah.
Um, but Rumble immediately monetizes us, and so does locals.
Hmm.
So we'll
Yeah.
probably be starting to jump through those hoops, because we need to start covering the costs of the show.
Yeah.
So we're going to call that whenever that officially kicks off. It's either next week or the week after.
Yeah.
Um, that's going to be the beginning of season 2. So we did
Yeah.
pass our 1 year anniversary about a month ago,
We did. We didn't
and
do a thing. We should have done a thing. And
we didn't do
I
it. I
think
don't think we were even on that week. So
yeah, I think we took maybe we took a break for our anniversary. We went on a romantic weekend getaway. But
I did.
no,
I don't know where you were.
yeah. Well, so we'll keep you posted. We'll be you can follow on Facebook page. We'll make some
Yeah.
announcements via YouTube and let you know what day the show is going to be on,
Right.
and when you can be looking for it. Those kinds of things. If you're not a Patreon subscriber right now, let me just say this: would you just hold? I know that that's strategically a bad thing to ask people to do. If you want to be generous, we'll make a way for you to be generous. We're going to set up a locals account. I don't want to drive anybody to Patreon and then ask you to move your account, cancel an account. That's just silly.
So
Um,
just go on there and don't commit money for the moment.
there you go. There you go. And for those of you who are Patreon members, just get ready. We'll have links for you to you can you we'll have a little bit of a walkthrough on how to
Not
cancel out of
deleting
Patreon.
our account. But
Now,
Patreon makes people, when they go to view our content, they have to agree to a mature audience thing
right.
that makes
They
it look
treat us
as
like
if
we're
we
pornography,
are
and I hate
doing
that.
pornography. And I really, really don't like that. Yeah. Simply because we talk about and show guns.
Yeah.
So we're in the same category as pornography. And we're always on the edge of being deleted there because they don't like that content.
Yep.
I think they tolerate a lot of it behind that wall, and as long as it's only for paying members.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
like, we can't do
Absolutely.
our everyday carry drops where we show off our guns and knives and all the stuff that we're carrying and practical preps like, booby traps and tripwires and all that stuff. We can't show any of that on the
Right.
unpaid side of things. So we're still
I
filling out
can
logos to see what the rules are there.
I can
But
show
Rumble
one.
would do that.
I can show one. Um,
Go on.
Costco, Costco right now has a really
Hmm.
nice new Leatherman. This is the Leatherman bolster. This is the Leatherman bolster. It's just it's a
Okay.
very it's a
Very
spring loaded
shiny.
pliers, which I like.
Oh, I like
It's
that
it's
actually.
it's not
Like
it's not it's the full where I'm getting here. It's the full size grip. Okay, full size pliers. Uh,
that. Oh,
um, $28 right now. And I really needed a backup Leatherman so that I could
sure.
send my Leatherman Wave back to get. It's got a broken blade on it and it needs some service work.
Oh.
So I'll
Well,
send that over to
they
Leatherman, have
they
some warranty
fix
done.
your edges because my non-serrated parts are looking more serrated.
Yeah, they will fix your edges. They will go through. They'll go through and they'll do a full tear down and if you ask them to.
Leatherman's still
But
an occupied communist organ, right?
they are. But all of them are.
Yeah.
Like all of them
Yeah,
are.
not for long.
It's
Heard
certain.
Leopold might be leaving. We'll see.
Leopold might be leaving. So anyway, the Leatherman bolster, it's very
Yeah.
close to the Wingman. If you remember the Wingman, so there's a so as far as we'll just finish this and then we'll kill this video and we'll go to the bunker. All right, so you got a pretty good knife. You got a
My scissors
let's
are
show it
spring
off.
loaded.
The one thing that I like about this is it doesn't have a full where's my camera? There it is. It doesn't have a
Yeah.
full serrated, but it has a half serrated blade, which I really like right here. It does have the file and it does have the uh, beer assess device. It's got a bottle opener in there, and it's also got a little lanyard loop. Oh, there it is. So you got those guys, okay, on that side, and
Okay.
then on this side, it does have um,
Semi needle blunt tip. Yeah,
Uh,
with decent grip. Yeah,
very
get a
very
Phillips,
decent grip. Yep.
little pry
You know
bar.
what I've you know what I've really enjoyed that Leatherman's has started doing is
Huh.
they've started putting one side has just a little bit of a curve to it. And what I like about that is when you grab it, it's less sharp inside your hand when this side conforms to you just a little bit. And I've noticed that my skeletal was like that. My skeletal has evaporated. That's part of why I needed
Yeah.
this because my normal EDC Leatherman evaporated. So I went to my backup. My backup has a broken blade in it. So I needed a backup for the backup. And,
Well, for $29, that's a great gift.
it's
That's
great,
gift
great
level.
gift. And I'll tell you, this was one of the things that I really, really
Does
love
it say
giving.
made in USA on it anywhere? Because I'll be
Um,
really impressed if that one's made in USA. Mine says made in USA on it,
oh, I'm gonna be so sad.
but mine is definitely not the $29 one.
No,
I have the
dang
Leatherman
it.
free, and if you're a patron supporter, you see this one a lot.
Yeah, that's in his EDC
But
drop a
mine is
lot.
Leatherman made in USA.
Mine does not say
No,
USA. I'm very sad. I thought all
no,
their stuff was made in the
no.
USA. But anyway, so but $28,
We'll
not a
take
bad little
times.
backup Leatherman. It's pretty light. I could throw this in my biking kit. That's pretty good stuff. And I'm going to make a video about how a prepper sets up a mountain bike here soon. And I'm going to post that video to this channel first.
Hey, Bold
Do me a
Warrior,
favor.
you are definitely right about Oregon. Yeah. And arguably, this says made in USA, but I know it was made in Oregon. So that's a bold faced lie because everybody's
Yeah,
cunts.
that's true. Oh man, I lost track of where the
Although,
comments
hey,
were.
bold face, I think where you are, I think I know where you live, and I don't know if I remember who you are, but it's all right. I did see the Daily Wire article this week of you have now 9 counties that are putting it on the ballot to join Idaho. And you have the full support of Idaho because they are trying to balance out the lefties in Boise and Meridian, Cascade.
Nice.
So
They finally
hey,
got it because they didn't have it for a long time.
keep going.
That's
They're fighting
keep
for it.
going.
You need to fight. Now's the time. Now's the time to
Somebody
fight all
tell
the way
me.
around. Let's just all start fighting. Let's do it.
Somebody tell me whether Wasco County or Lake County. Those are the only two counties I really care about. Wasco County or Lake County. If you're voting, I want to hear about it. So tell me about that. Hey, we love you guys. We're gonna get out of here tonight. We're gonna film up a video for the bunker. We're gonna do EDC drop. We're
Yep.
gonna talk a little bit more in depth. Usually
Talk about show update,
we get a little surlier. I'll tell you, listen, I'll tell you what, if you're tempted to join Patreon, you can actually join for a month and not have to pay for it. You could cancel right before they bill you.
which is
So you
going
could,
away. Patreon is trying to force creators to do away with that. They don't like it. They send me an email every day telling us to change our account settings. And if you start a Patreon account now, you can't even set it up this way anymore. You have to start charging
ah,
people from day one now. We're allowed to keep it. We're grandfathered in because that's our contract with them. We will
yep.
never implement that. We will
But like
always give.
if you wanted to watch tonight's bunker in like about an hour,
Yeah,
hour and a half, we'll upload a video
sign up.
to
You don't have
Patreon.
to pay anything.
Yeah, and then just cancel it before the month is over and then move over to locals if you want to support us. We
Yeah,
love
go
you
ahead and just
guys.
rip us off.
Get prepped.
It's too late, probably.
Peace. We love you.